In an orchard of apple and peach trees, 3/7 of the trees are peaches. What is the ratio of apple trees to peach trees? Well, if you have 3/7 of the trees are peaches, that means you have 3 peach trees out of 7 total trees. Which means then you're going to have 4 apple trees to 7 trees. So I can cancel out the trees and say it's 3 peach to 4 apple. So if they want the ratio of apple to peach, it's going to be 4 apples to 3 peach. Number 2, determine whether trapezoid ABCD is similar to trapezoid PQRS and justify your answer. Well, the first thing you would do is look at the order of the letters and then compare corresponding sides. So A and B are the first 2 letters, P and Q are the first 2 letters. So AB has to correspond to PQ in the same way that BC would correspond to QR, CD would correspond to RS, and DA would correspond to SP. So then I just filled in all the values for each segment. So I'm trying to decide, does 9.6 compare to 9 in the same way 15.6 compares to 7.8, in the same way 12.4 compares to 15, in the same way that 23.4 compares to 6? Well, obviously not, because just looking at these fractions, that's an improper fraction, that's an improper fraction, this is a proper fraction. There's no way an improper fraction and a proper fraction can divide out and become the same decimal. So the answer to the question would be no, and your explanation would be that corresponding sides are not proportional. You can go one step further and divide out the decimals and see divide the fractions and get the decimal equivalents. You see none of the decimals are the same, so that's why you know the sides are not corresponding. Number 3, in triangle ABC, the measure of angle A is 51, AB is 14, AC is 20. So I sketched the triangle. In triangle DEF, the measure of angle D is 51, DE is 16.8, and DF is 24. So I tried to make a fairly decent sketch of what the triangles would look like. And now you got to determine whether triangle ABC is similar to triangle DEF, and you have to justify your answer. Well, when I look at these two triangles, I see side angle side. So if these are similar, I know that the angles are congruent, so I've got that part taken care of. 51 is congruent to 51. But I have to ask myself, does 14 compare to 16.8 in the same way that 20 compares to 24? So you can cross multiply to see if it's proportional. So is 14 times 24 going to equal 16.8 times 20? So when I do each of the multiplications, 336 is equal to 336. So I would say yes, they are similar. And my reasoning would be side, angle, side, similarity. A painting that is 48 inches by 12 inches is reduced to fit on a canvas that's 30 centimeters by 10 centimeters. Find the maximum dimensions of the reduced painting. Well, if I want to maximize this, I actually want to fit the 48 inches on the 30 centimeter side because that was the longer dimension. So this is a reduction. So my scale factor would be 30 compared to 48, which when I divide that out, I get 0.625. So that means I'm going to have to take the 12 times 0.625, because that's my scale factor, so that's my multiplier, and I would get 7.5. So instead of using all 10 centimeters over here, I'm only going to use 7.5 of those centimeters. So the answer to the question, the dimensions of the reduced painting, I'm using up the full 30 centimeters by 7.5 centimeters. Number 5, you have to find the value of x. Well, in the triangle proportionality theorem, if a line's parallel to one side of a triangle and intersects the other 2 sides, then it divides the sides into segments of proportional lengths. So in this case, I know that I can compare JM to ML in the same way that I can compare KN to NL. So I know JM is 6, I know ML is 4.8, I know Kn is 6.5, and then to get NL, I know by the segment addition postulate, Kn plus NL equals KL. So I can figure out that NL is actually represented by 2x minus 6.5. And there's my proportion that I have to solve. So when I cross multiply, I'm going to do 6 times 2x minus 6.5 and 4.8 times 6.5. So that leads me to 12x minus 39 equals 31.2. Add 39 to each side to get 70.2. Divide each side by 12, and I'm going to get x to be 5.85.